Hey guys, welcome back. Today I am working on Project Life week 41 and I'm using a few of the new November exclusive products from Citrus Twist. Now one of the things that I am using are the digital printable cards for this month, and a few of them I've been a little bit sneaky and have done some digital manipulations just to kind of change the colors a little bit. One of those ones is up there as the title card. That was a 3x4 card, and I extended that to make it into a 4x6 for my title card. And there's a few other ones that I've kind of manipulated the colors a little bit because the products in the November release are very autumnal feeling, which is the exact opposite of what I'm dealing with here in New Zealand. Definitely springtime, the weather's finally turned nice, and so a lot of these products I'm probably just going to have to put away until autumn next year because it's definitely feeling very springy here. I mean, these stickers are super cute, but there's not many that I'm going to be able to use around here. It's definitely not pumpkin season. We're definitely not getting cozy. We're finally getting back into the outdoors, into the open, into the sunshine. So I have done a little bit of manipulation with those cards just to make them suit my season a little bit better. Now I'm just going to go ahead and work straight onto my title card this week because I really loved this stripy digital. I love it. It's so cute. The colors are perfect for me here, and all I'm going to do is just really simply add a few things to it. So I'm using the Penelope Alphas, and I'm going to stamp out week. Having used these alphas before, I know that I need to keep them really tight so that I've got enough room to fit my week number on the end. I'm also using a super dark black ink, so this is a Catherine Pooler ink. Because this is a digital printable, I've printed it onto my own cardstock at home. That's a little bit more absorbent than, say, a printed card, and I just want to make sure that that stays nice and black. So I used a darker black ink. And for my week number, I needed something small to fit into that little gap, so I'm using my favorite little black foam alphas from Citrus Twist as well, just tucking them onto the inside. Now I decided that I didn't want to just stamp straight underneath here, otherwise it was going to end up being quite a plain looking card. So I did grab out my jar of printable labels and just picked one that I figured would be kind of a nice color match. It's not exact, but it's close enough. And then I put my card back onto my actual spread because you can see I've picked out two other 3x4 cards that have, if not exactly labels, they're kind of label-like shapes. And so adding this third one is going to give me kind of a visual triangle, three sort of labels. And I wanted to make sure that where I placed this one wasn't directly on top of another, or just that it visually looked nice. That was a little bit of a kind of, I mean, not a waste of time, but I'm going to change this right now. This is the die cut pack for November, and it's a very kind of, not florals, I don't know what you call it, it's just leaves. There's no florals in here, just leaf shapes, which again, very autumnal. But what I noticed is that there are a few in here that are kind of like pink tones. There are a few anyway that I decided I could manipulate enough if I picked out the colors carefully enough that they wouldn't look too autumny and they would definitely fall more into the spring category. So I'm just going through and picking out, basically it's kind of any colors that are going to go with that stripes, those stripes on that week card there. So pinks, purples, teals, anything a little bit sort of lighter, brighter, cooler toned, I guess, just to try and keep it in that spring toned wheelhouse. And you can see I picked out quite a few, so there's enough. I'm going to use those as basically the only embellishment on this spread. I sort of just wanted to keep this as simple as possible, being my theme for November. Simple scrapping. I don't want to go too crazy with the kind of embellishment, so this is really it. I'm going to create a few little, I'm going to call them floral clusters because honestly I have no other words for them. I'm going to create a few little clusters with those leaf shaped florals around and about my spread. So I added some on top of the 40, and that having that kind of heaviness on the right hand side of that card really did make the placement of the label look wrong. So even though I've already trimmed it, I just moved it on top of my title. So the trim mark still works fine. I just moved it to become kind of a part of that cluster. Now I'm going to work on these two 3x4 cards at the same time. They're not exactly the same, but I'm just going to work on them in tandem here. One of them I'm going to do kind of the same thing that I did with the title card. I'm going to add my photo to the bottom, and then I'm going to use the label that is printed on that card. I'm going to use that as kind of a base to create this little, it's a very small cluster. It's really only two of those floral leaves layered together, again in those kind of cool tones, and that just makes a little bit more of a cluster. I'm going to put the rest aside. I do kind of have an idea that I want to do a third one, just haven't quite decided where yet, so I'm just going to carry on really simply. Embellishing seems like the wrong word when it's this simple. I am using the, I think it's called Food Love stamp set. It's one of my favorites. You can tell I use it all the time. Both of these are food photos, so it works perfectly for this. I just didn't want to stamp this one directly onto the card itself. I wanted to make it stand out a little bit more and add a little bit more color. And so one of the digitals that I printed was this kind of teacup design on this orange background. It says cozy up. I know that's not something that I'm going to be using anytime soon, so I just use the background as some color to do my stamping on. That way I know it's going to tie in perfectly with the rest of the colors. Those two cards, that one and the photo of Lily there, are going into a 4x6 pocket. I don't want them to flap around, so I just added a couple of bits of washi tape on the back of them. That's going to keep them in the correct shape for the pocket. And again, super simple. This card already had that kind of label design on it, which makes it a perfect place to do some stamping. I'm just going to stack a couple of sentiments, adhere my photo down, and call that done. There's kind of enough, not extravagant kind of embellishment, but you know, with those clusters, I want to make the rest of it a little bit simpler, and so just adding a couple of stamps is going to be totally perfect. I'm not going to do anything else to this other two 3x4 photos. I'm going to leave them just as they are. They're nice and light and bright, and I think that that works perfectly with this spread. Now I did struggle a little bit with what I was going to put into this particular 4x6 pocket. This is really the spot where I want to do my journaling this week, and so I didn't want anything too kind of bright and colorful. I've got this real light pastel-y kind of theme going on. I wanted to stick with that. So in the end I went back to one of the Printables, which is just, it's basically a white card. It's very hard to see here on camera. It has a whole bunch of little grey lined frames on it, so it's just a nice texture to add my journaling onto, which I did just do straight through my typewriter before adding my photo, and again layering up a couple of those florals. I purposefully left a space at the bottom of this card so that I could stamp this stamp from the stamp set, one of my favorite stamp sets. Again, I'm just pulling out all the favorites this week. It was the perfect place to add that quite bold sentiment. The allergies around here, it's the one downside of spring, I gotta say, and so that was perfect to stamp that, and again using that darker black Catherine Pooler ink because I am printing it directly onto white cardstock. This stamp, however, I'm going to stamp this with my usual Memento Tuxedo Black because I know that it stamps perfectly fine onto my photo paper, which is Canon Photo Glossy 2. This one says, why did I get out of bed? A photo that I happened to randomly capture of Shane and Lily taking a nap together. I thought it was perfect just to repeat stamp that to fill in that gap. And that is the spread all done. Told you it was going to be simple. This is my aim for November, to kind of get a little bit more caught up and just keep things as simple as possible. Digital printables are always the way to do that for me. Hey, thanks for watching today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there are a couple of videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye.